Hi, I'm Rick Rasby, Beef Specialist at the University of Nebraska. Today I'd like to talk about corn stalk residue grazing. And what I have in front of you today is I have a number of bushel baskets. In the first bushel basket, I have a bushel of corn, weighs approximately 56 pounds. In the other baskets, I have the amount of residue produced from that bushel of corn. So I have in this basket here I have stems, in this basket here I have cobs, and in these two baskets I have husk and leaf, the amount of husk and leaf that's produced from a bushel of corn, which weighs about 56 pounds. So from that bushel of corn, I get about 18 pounds of stems, I get about 5.8 or 6 pounds of cobs, and I get 16 pounds of husk and leaf on a dry matter basis. Now, cattle are selective grazers when they graze a residue field, a corn residue field. They'll select the corn first, followed by the husk and leaf, and finally the cob and the stalk. And we know that there's not a lot of corn left out in the fields unless there's been some kind of damage or something to the stalk. And so the primary ingredients out there in a crop residue field are going to be stem, cob, and husk and leaf. And again, cattle are selective grazers. They actually want to select the most nutritious and palatable, really the most palatable component of that stalk residue field, and that would be the husk and the leaf. Now, we understand how important it is to leave some of this residue back out in the field so that it adds to the organic matter of the soil and therefore adds something back to that soil, so that as we take a look at how that might impact the soil components. And so we know cattle are selective grazers, and we know that by a number of experiments. We know the pounds of residue produced from a bushel of corn. And so our recommendation would be is that we want to focus on the husk and the leaf. And in fact, our recommendation, which is in this basket right here, the fifth basket here, is about 8 pounds of husk and leaf. So there's 16 pounds of husk and leaf produced per bushel of corn. We want to target cattle to eat about 8 pounds of husk and leaf. And so we can do that if we know the number of acres, the yield in those acres, the weight of the animal, and we can calculate the number of days that we would leave a set of cattle in there to remove about 8 pounds of husk and leaf per bushel of corn. And if you go corn-soybean rotation, we don't see any depression in yield in the soybeans that following year. We also don't see any depression in the corn yield the year after that. And so we feel that if you graze according to our recommendations, that you'll not see a reduction in subsequent yield of both soybeans and of corn. Again, we think in Nebraska it's farming and livestock are in a symbiotic relationship. We think one of the ways that at least cow-calf producers can lower annual cow costs is to utilize corn residue as part of their nutrition program.